for investors by investors. You're listening to the only show on the planet for real estate investors, wholesalers, rehabbers, landlords, private lenders, cash buyers, fix and flippers. This is Real Estatepreneurs. So in the last couple episodes, we told you how the landscape of real estate and real estate marketing is changing. We gave you the single biggest opportunity you're probably missing. And the question is, well, okay, what does this all mean? How do I put it all together? And we're gonna give you some of the nuts and bolts on how you can be everywhere online so your market thinks you are bigger and more prolific than you are. So let's dive in. Nate, you there, buddy?
I'm here. What's up, man?
I don't even know where to begin with this. What in tarnation is a digital footprint? Like you said, let's talk about digital footprint. I'm like, yeah, that sounds great, but I don't know what it is.
I thought you knew what it was. Guess not.
No, we're in trouble. We are in trouble.
Digital footprint. That's the space that you consume online, man. That's everything that people see when they go online and they're looking for you. They're looking for your company. They're looking for you. It's what they find. It's what they see. It's your website, it's your social presence, it's all of that integrated into one. And it's kind of making sure that you can control what is out there and what not. For example, back in the day, what made me start thinking about digital footprint is someone went and searched Nate Kennedy, and my buddy sent me this image of Nate Kennedy, and it was this guy in prison, was the first image that popped up that was in prison.
Nice. I want to buy your house.
With tattoos all over his face and an article about what he had did that was not very nice. It didn't seem like a very nice guy, but that was the first thing that started popping up when you type in Nate Kennedy. And I'm like, well, that's not good. So how do I fix that? Right. And so that's really started building a digital footprint. So when people search Nate Kennedy's, I started putting my name out there more and be able to have stuff that was more relevant to me as opposed to that guy. So what you want to do is start putting all those pieces in place.
You know, I would have explained it totally different. Maybe it's because I have a 5-year-old probably, and we're into fairy tales. I don't know which one it is. Is it Hansel and Gretel? Are they the W's that go into the forest and like drop breadcrumbs on the ground or some junk like that and then can't find their way back? I'm probably getting it wrong, but that's kind of the way I see it. Is those little breadcrumbs, if you do them right, they actually stick around and they lead people back to you.
Correct.
So it's kind of baiting people back to wherever you want them to go is the way I see it.
Yeah, and that's a much better non-technical explanation. Absolutely.
I told Nate thought I was joking on the last episode, Real Estatepreneurs. I told him, you better get out of the weeds. Like his idea of giving value is giving everything away. And I'm like, dude, we don't want to hear that. Like, let's just have some fun, Nate.
You got to know how to do things. And then I like the tech stuff. I geek out on that. So, but not everyone, I would say I'm the minority when it comes to that.
No, I think that's your specialty, right? That's your gift or your unique ability is that you can get down on that and get results. And that's why I'd rather just hire you than learn what you know.
But you need to know. You need to know. So, yeah, I mean, that's a perfect example, right? Breadcrumbs, right? You're putting these little digital breadcrumbs across the internet. And you're leveraging these resources and tools that are free and available to you, and some free, some not, to create this footprint out there, this that people can, as they find it, they come back to you and everything else. Another great example, I created a video 8 years ago. And I went through this like whole fitness transformation 8 years ago. My son was born. Man, I got to get my act together. I was like, I'm just kind of the fat kid right now, and I'm the fat kid with a kid, so I got to fix that. And I hired this guy to do this transformation. He did this whole video, and every day I did a video for 90 days. I did a video on Facebook 8 years ago of how my day went. It's like a minute-long video and everything else. I still get people coming back and commenting on those videos to this day. 8 years later now, 8 years later. So it's pretty wild. And those are like little breadcrumbs that are sitting out there. It also got rid of the guy's first picture that showed up on Google, so that helped. So I people don't no longer assume I'm a criminal when they finally get in touch with me.
But when they see you, they're like, dude, you're so much skinnier.
Yeah, right? So it's those things, right? And those videos still get interaction. Every randomly now I'll pull up online and I'll be like, oh, so-and-so just like this day 33. And I'm like, oh, wow, 8 years ago, they're still liking those videos. So stuff sits out there and comes back to you. So that's good and bad if you've been putting some crazy stuff out there.
Yeah, you better get rid of those weird party videos for sure, because those are coming back. Aren't we lucky? Like, we're probably close to the same age. I don't know how old you are, Nate, but aren't we lucky that we didn't have all these cameras and all this social media when we were young and doing stupid things? Like, that stuff will stick around to haunt you.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm glad that was not around. Matter of fact, I think I just dropped off some of those college cameras I had off at the place that was, destroying hard drives for me.
Yeah. So I think there's a good point there. We have all these different ways, and we've been talking in the last couple episodes about video specifically, but we have all these ways to control the story, tell a story about us and control the story by creating. And that's something that if you guys are listening to this show right now, you're consuming, but I hope that we are empowering you to also create, because Nate's given a lot of tips on how to create, but you have to create something, put it out there, and be strategic about what that piece means and how it fits into your overall strategy. I mean, that's one of the things you're big on, isn't it? It's like really being strategic about the videos that you create and the content that you create.
Yeah, it's super important, right? Because otherwise you just it's a hodgepodge of stuff over time, like, which frankly, you're going to see that with my stuff if you go look along, far enough back. But what you want to do is be strategic on the content you create. And the reason I think that's important is I struggle with creating content every day. And some people, content marketers and people that tell you leverage these different pieces, are saying, do something every day. I just know that I'm not going to do it every day. So I always try and, all right, well, how can I be more strategic about the content I create so I can get way more mileage out of it than having to do something every day? So if your messaging is always similar and the stuff you're talking about is always similar and the people you're helping is very similar and all that, like, you can get way more mileage out of the content you create with Facebook ads. But you definitely want to be strategic with it.
Well, I don't think it's just with Facebook ads, though. I think we're being kind of too narrow-minded here. I agree with you about creating, and I'm terrible at this. I create a lot of content and I don't use any of it again. I write emails almost every day, podcasts every week. Now I'm going to have 2 podcasts every week, hundreds of podcast episodes. And I see this with our clients all the time, is where they don't take the best pieces of content and use them. And not just for ads like you're talking about. Yeah, taking a video snippet and running an ad on it, but taking it and just using it in different ways, using it for your email opt-in on the website. If we're doing audio, using it as a video on YouTube, or using one of those power quotes that we create and taking that from the episode and putting that on Instagram. It's all around that one piece of content. So I think one of the things that I know is hard to create lots of content, but I also think that you have to have a certain level of content creation in place so you can find the things that actually work. Yeah. Find the things that tick up, Yeah,
absolutely. Right. You want to feed the stallion, starve the ponies, right? Once you got all that good content. I think Perry Belcher used to say that back in the day. That's where I first heard it. So what you want to do is definitely create that content. Your audience in your marketplace is going to tell you what they like, what they don't like, because they're going to engage with it.
Can we create a challenge? Let's create a challenge for our people listening right now. What kind of challenge could we create to get the real estatepreneurs out there creating some content? Maybe we can even do a giveaway or something, but a piece of content a day for a week or something like that?
Yeah, do 7 days in a row, piece of content, and one video, anywhere from a minute long, at least a minute long, right? Video of content, of value.
On your phone.
On your iPhone. No green screen.
Nope.
And get that out there, absolutely.
Last episode, was it last episode where you actually gave 3 or 4 different ways to create that content, where you talked about 5 deals or maybe a rehab or maybe a testimonial? I think that's in the last episode, right? So if you guys haven't heard it, go back and listen to that for ideas on specific content. But over the next 7 days, this is actionable, real estatepreneurs. Over the next 7 days, hit those, do short videos, hit different angles, and post them to your social media. And you'll see very quickly which are the pieces that hit. And once you know what hits, right there, you can say, all right, I need to build this out further, because the rehab one didn't work, but Sally Joe giving me a testimonial, that works. So I got to get more of those. I mean, that's an easy plan for you if you're not content marketing, and that's an easy way for you to start building that digital footprint.
And I'll take it a step further, because I can't help myself. You're going to take that video,
here we go,
those 7 videos, and you're going to upload them to rev.com and get the transcripts. And now you're going to have articles. So there you go.
Yeah, a little nerdy.
It is. It is.
Little
It is.
nerdy.
But hey, man, you're talking about getting content stacked up,
Yeah.
right? And being able to repurpose content, right? So
It works.
if only your emails would instantly be able to turn into videos if you loaded them to Rev. So all your emails.
Yeah, that's another way. Like, all right, that one article did good. The Sally Joe thing did great. So yeah, get that to Rev, make it an article, put it on your site. Now you have a video and now you have a blog post all talking about how you help Sally Joe. Breadcrumbs leading to you, helping people trust you, helping people say, all right, this guy may not be as scammy, even though he has the tattoos all over his face. He might be all right.
So repurpose. You can always repurpose content that you got multiple ways. You know who's king of that, man? That's Gary Vee. All he does is create a video and he puts it in like all over the internet, man. He turns it into massive amounts of content with, 1 5-minute video. It's crazy.
The thing about it, and here's what I want you, our dear listener, to understand. It is work. Like, it's work, number one, to plan the content. It's work to create the content. And then it's work to actually start repurposing, as we're talking about here, which is a great way to build your digital footprint. So just be aware of that. Like, start with one thing. Just start with the videos and get 7 days of videos and see which one gets you the most feedback on your social channels. And that's where you start learning to fine tune your message. I would say, you know what else I think might be interesting here now that we're talking about this, and it is a little bit tactical. So shame on me after making fun of Nate, but maybe just mentioning a little bit about the seed language, because you talk about using that in your videos. And I feel like we haven't been using that enough even here on our show.
Yeah. So seed language, when you're doing videos, we call it seed language. There's about basically what it comes down to is you've got 5 or 6 phrases that you have written out that you can leverage in every video that helps build subconsciously your expertise and your authority to people that are watching your content. So for example, Jonathan, you run my podcast, right? So what's your seed language that you use in your podcast videos?
First of all, I want to say that Nate's not calling this what it really is. We're programming people. We're brainwashing. So when they come to you, they're repeating these things, right? So the seed language that you helped me pull out, and the numbers are different now. It used to be 34, but we've helped like 45 experts launch and grow their podcasts. We've helped them make their sales easier. We've been in the business. Rachel doesn't like this, and I want to get your take on it. Cupcake, actually. I need to call her a Cupcake when we're in public forums. Cupcake doesn't like this, and I wanted to get your take on it since we're talking about it now. But she really can't stand when I put the seed language, we've been in this business 10 years, because like the first podcast I ever did was 2008, 2009. And she's like, that with the 40 experts sounds like crap. Don't put it. What do you think?
Wow, great question. She has a valid point, but I would say I've been podcasting for 10 years.
Separate the two. Because I think it's a badge of honor. I was podcasting before podcasting was cool, and I liked the 10 years, but we only actually made it a business in 2015. Yeah. Because before that, it was just me talking to my friends.
I've been podcasting over 10 years, and we've launched over 45 shows in the last 4 years, 3.5 years, or whatever. 4 years.
Okay, yeah. So that's how we have
45 experts. That's one a month, basically, right? I mean, you got.
Now it sounds better. You tell her that next time.
It's all on how you say it.
Yeah. But yeah, so that seed language is kind of like programming, isn't it? You repeat that over and over in the videos, and it's so people understand that this is an important thing that will help them trust you, help them know what you do, and help them make a faster decision when they're actually talking to you and in the middle of a deal.
Yeah. Like, for example, I'm the hired gun for real estate gurus, the king, the undisputed champion of real estate marketing. Those are more just statements. That's not seed language. That's just more statement.
He's coming out of his shell, boys and girls. We're in trouble. I like it. So what else can we say? We've given some tips on seed language. We've given some tips on actually creating content and multiplying that content to make a bigger digital footprint. Any other tips that we can give the real estatePreneurs?
Well, I think those are good tips, right? I mean, I think if we get into the whole website stuff and everything else, that's an episode in its.
Yeah, like those are properties. And I think that's the concept is once you have this idea for content, and once you have your seed language down, and once you've tested some things out and you find what works, then it's putting it in different properties. Like we talk about putting something on iTunes, putting it on your website, putting it on Instagram. It's different properties, populating this phrase or this term or whatever it is that leads back to Nate Kennedy and optimized assets. Yeah, I mean, syndicating. We talked about repurposing. Now we're talking about syndicating. It could get into weeds here.
Yeah. We'll talk about that at another point, how to syndicate that out. But you got to have focus on one more tip as you start creating this content. So I get this question a lot. So people ask me, should I do it on my name? Should I do it as a company name? I'm a firm believer that you should have a company name on the local real estate side, right? Local real estate side, like let's say Buckeye Home Buyer, and then there's the face of that company. Let's say we got Orlando Investment Crew and JR is the face of it. You can combine the two. You can be the face of it. There has to be a level of trust with people, and you can be the face of the actual brand. So you can build your brand and the company brand at the very same time doing it. So I get that question a lot. So as you start thinking about this, don't let that question get in your way. Should I do this as ABC Investors or should I do this as Nate Kennedy? Do it as Nate Kennedy with ABC.
Combo platter. You know what? I will add on to that as we're coming to a close here. But I have found I never, ever, ever wanted to be the face, as you probably know, because it was hard to get me to do videos. I never wanted to be the face of the company. I wanted my company to just do its own thing and me just be able to run it. And I found way more success with me being involved as the spokesperson for my company than when I was trying to make it just about the podcast factory. It's anecdotal. I don't know if I have proof on that, but it's something I want to share with the real estate.
Facts.
I like it. So look, real estatePreneurs, we're goofing off here. We're having a good time. And most importantly, we want to help you with these shows and with what we're sharing. If we have helped you, if you've learned something, if you found something useful here, share this show with someone. Tell them we're dorks and nerds first. Prepare them, obviously, and then share it with them. But please help us get the word out about real estatePreneurs. We would appreciate that greatly. And we thank you for tuning in, and we'll be back in your earbuds next time.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.